Thank you so much, Rosemary, for joining us today. As this is part of my online cohort about getting published, and usually the sessions are closed, but we open the guest speakers to spread knowledge about the community. I've been following Rosemary's journey for a while now, and been really inspired by her freelancing career. She's pretty young for, and she has has amazing experience already. And I personally learned a lot from her. And thanks to Twitter, I got to know Rosemary and exchange a number of messages. And actually, she's very, advise everyone to follow her, especially if you're a freelance author, because she always shares job alerts as well on her feed. Just a bit about her: she's a content marketing manager, she's a writer, she's a strategist, she's a contributor for business.com, a solopreneur, Goodman Project, and she is a recognized content marketing influencer. So, Rosemary, welcome again. And to get started, I'm gonna stop talking. Okay, I talk a lot, but I first, the floor is all yours. If you can just tell us a bit about yourself and your freelance journey, and the trials and tribulations of your freelance journey. Welcome, Rosemary.
Okay, thank you so much, Natasha. It's a pleasure to be on your platform. When you told me about it, I wasn't really, let's say, I wasn't really expecting it from you because you're somebody I look up to. So I count it a privilege to be here. Thank you for having me. My name is Rosemary Egbo. I'm a freelance content marketing manager. I'm also a strategist, a writer, and I've been freelancing for 5 years plus now. I started my freelance journey on LinkedIn. Many people who follow me already know this because I say it all the time. It's because it's part of my story. I can't change it. I did start off on freelance marketplaces. I started on LinkedIn and I was doing something quite not so good as of then. While starting out, I was just like adding everybody. I didn't really know what a target audience was, I didn't really know, but I was just targeting everybody on LinkedIn. And the worst part was I was spamming them in their DMs. So I used to like send them a message. I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. Although it got me a few gigs, honestly, it got me a few gigs, but those gigs were kind of draining, overwhelming, exhausting. You know, when you don't filter your prospects who eventually becomes your client, you tend to like suffer from it. So I went through that process, and for some time I took a few steps back, asked myself, I want to do this thing differently, because I knew that there was money in this thing. So if I really want to make that money, if I want to make my mark, then I'll have to approach it differently. Then I said to myself, okay, I'll have to take a step back, because as of then I wasn't posting on LinkedIn. I wasn't, in fact, I was just like an onlooker, but I was doing quite a few things in the DM. I don't really talk much. So I said, okay, let me give this platform 4 months. I told myself, because I understand that, well, every good thing takes time. So I gave LinkedIn 4 months. To be honest, my family is actually the reason why in fact, they are the backbone for my success, in the sense that as of then I was job hunting. And the pay grade I was seeing, geez, they were quite terrifying. That was when I remembered I had a writing skill that I had to like dust off, upskill, improve, and something I could make money from. So I said, okay, since my family they're already catering to some of my needs, let me give LinkedIn a try. Why I'm saying this is because many people may not be privileged enough, like I was, to have family who like house them, cater to their needs while they are job hunting. So that is why I don't really bash freelance marketplaces You can start from there. I tell freelancers, you can start from there, but don't stay there for long. Give yourself time, maybe 5 months, maybe 6 months, maybe 1 year. You understand? To find your balance before you leave those platforms. So for me, I didn't start on those platforms, and I was privileged enough to have siblings who were quite caring enough to cater to my needs while I was job hunting. So I decided to give LinkedIn 4 months. 4 months, I said, let me dedicate 4 months of consistency on this platform and see where it goes. So I started posting on LinkedIn. First of all, I optimized my LinkedIn profile because then it was in shambles. In fact, I dedicated a day. I just like fine-tuned it, told people what I do, everything. If you come to my profile, you know that this person is actually serious-minded. But what was missing were the posts. They were missing. So I didn't really know much about content marketing then. I was just like talking about generic stuff. I talk about writing, I talk about life, I talk about job hunting, I talk about my experience. Then, as of then, I wasn't really that niche the way I am currently on LinkedIn. So I did it for 4 months. I was showing up. In fact, there was a time I was posting twice a day on LinkedIn. I mean, long posts, not just short posts. That was how dedicated I was. On the 4th month, somebody from Sweden sent me and it sent me a message and said, Rosemary, we have a blog on so. Can you help us rewrite some of the content pieces on our blog? That was it. That was the first, like, it was not the first gig I got on LinkedIn, but it was the first intentional, like in my second era. I call it my second LinkedIn era because yes, because I didn't pitch that person. The person reached out to me. It means that people are actually seeing what I'm doing. And my KPIs is really like showing something significant. I was getting key performance indicators that, okay, my profile is blowing up. People are checking me out. People are consuming my content. People are following me. It means I'm actually on the right path. So when she sent me that message, I think that was the breakthrough I needed. The moment I finished that project, it was as if that project opened the doors to other people. I was that wondering, where were these people in the first place? But I guess that's life. That's how life is. So I continued on LinkedIn for like 2 years. I was getting gigs, but not so frequent. And not so frequent, but sometimes they do come. You know, freelancing, we have the time for harvest, we have rainy season, we have period of scarcity and the likes. So one day I just told myself, I said, okay, I create content for businesses. And the worst part is some of these businesses don't really know create for them. So what do? I asked myself, what do? I said, okay, some of them don't know how to distribute. Some of them don't know how to repurpose the content they already have. Some of them don't even really understand what content marketing is. Then I didn't really understand what content marketing is. I just had basic idea. So what did I do? I said, okay, I guess this is where the money is. So I have to like go where the money resides. I took up courses on content marketing. I took a HubSpot course on content marketing. I started following content marketers. Remember, I used to follow senior editors, SEO experts, all those people I knew that we need my services. But this time around, I was out for people I wanted to learn from: content marketers, content managers, head of content, CMOs, and the likes, creative directors. So these are people I started following, not for them to really like give me a job. If they gave, it wouldn't have been bad anyways. But these were people I wanted to learn from. Whatever I read from them, I go back, research. I watch YouTube videos. I was reading wide, like I was consuming literally everything on content marketing. I wanted to understand what it's really about, because if I'm selling myself as a content marketer, I have to understand what I'm selling.
So Rosemary, I wanted to ask you something. I mean, what you said is fascinating. How they reached out to you, the Swedish, whatever business. So when you market, you are based in Nigeria, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and this is fascinating for me because, and I always tell my students this, that this is a global world, and I think some of the students now, and I got this asked. I had someone from the Philippines, and she was worried that she's not gonna get opportunities because she's based in the Philippines. And so, do you think when they reach out to you, do you care where you live, or that does not
Some
matter?
of them cared about some of them cared about where I lived because of
Okay,
let's say laws and all these payment platform. Because for we Nigerians, we have a lot of restrictions when it comes to payment platforms. We can't receive money through PayPal. Stripes is not even working. There are just a few payment platforms that are working, and these few payment platforms aren't really platforms that let's say prospects are conversant with. You know, everybody knows PayPal, everybody
okay,
knows Stripe,
yeah.
everybody knows some of these, the popular ones actually. So this was like a big barrier. But the truth is, let me tell you the truth. The truth is, we are in a value industry, a value-based industry.
Mm,
When people, what I realized is that when a prospect or when a client finds you valuable, they always find a way.
true.
They
That's true.
always find, you see those barriers, you see, we can't do this, we can't do this. Laws are for people they don't really want, or people that are not really that exceptional, or people they can find a replacement to. But when you have, that's why I tell, that's why if you follow my tweets, I always talk about value. I always talk about improving yourself, because when you improve yourself, these laws or these unwritten laws may not really affect you. Do you know why? Because you have something valuable to offer. Somebody was telling me the other time, I think last 3 weeks or so, somebody was talking about, I think somebody was complaining about the content. I think he hired a British person or something to one of
Okay,
those speakers. You know, there are companies that categorize a lot when it comes to, they are so hyped about this native English speaking thing that
okay,
they don't really care about the value, but where the person is coming from. So the person was telling me that he hired a British person to create content, that the content is not really what he expects, blah, blah, blah. I told the person, why this thing is happening is because you are close-minded. You're close-minded. You are restricting this opportunity or this role to a geographical location or to native English speakers. I know amazing writers who aren't even native English speakers, but they create good content. Not just content, they create content that generate leads, not just leads, sales. So what is, I told him, if this person is bringing solution, or if this person is ticking all your boxes and the person is not an English speaker, what's the problem? The most important thing is that the person is bringing value to the table. That's what
yeah.
matters. Geographical territory shouldn't matter. In fact, certificate, to tell you the truth, I've been working with a lot of people and they've not even asked me if I'm a graduate of English, journalism, creative writing, or anything. They don't care. The most important thing they care about is the value I'm bringing. So I tell people, improve your value. I used to be an ordinary content writer. I used to call myself that because I only knew how to write. If you give me content briefs, I can write based on the content briefs. But now I can strategize. I look at your website, look at your business goals, and tell you what to do when it comes to content marketing, what you are not doing right, and what you should start doing. I mean, when you have somebody like that who prefers solution to you, the location shouldn't really matter, because you can say, okay, let me stick with somebody from the US, let me stick with a Canadian or an Australian, and that person may end up underperforming. You
Mm.
understand? So I tell people, although I always tell people the odds, I'm a realistic person, as much as I love being optimistic. I tell people that the odds aren't always in our favor, especially we from Nigeria, Africa, and the likes. But that's the more reason we should like take our value proposition seriously. I mean, if an American is offering two, you should offer three. Do you know why?
Why?
That's what sets you apart. I mean,
So what are the nationalities of the clients that you're working with?
most of my clients are from the US.
Ah,
I've
yeah.
Yes, from the US. I work with people from the US, people from Canada and Australia. Majority of them are from the US. Although I have a few European clients, but they come once in a while. but most of my retainers are from the US.
And most of them found you through LinkedIn?
And
Or
most of them through LinkedIn, some of them on Twitter, while a few from client recommendations.
and how did you decide to make the transition from LinkedIn to Twitter? And what's the difference between these two platforms in terms of your content strategy and in terms of the quality of the conversation that you're having?
Okay, first of all, I did not transition from LinkedIn to Twitter. It's just when it comes to business, as a freelancer, you don't have to rely on just one platform. LinkedIn used to be my only source of lead generation, or the only platform I was prospecting on. I learn on LinkedIn, I teach on LinkedIn, and I earn on LinkedIn. So one day I told myself, what happens if one day I wake up and my LinkedIn account is gone? What do I do? I'm only left with the clients I have now. So how do I do it? I said, okay, let me try Twitter. I was active on Twitter, but I wasn't using it for my business. I never even said anything about content writing, freelance writing, or personal branding or content marketing. I never said anything of. So I just use it just where I come, read funny tweets, and just go about my day. Then I said, okay, let me give just the same way I did my LinkedIn. I said, okay, let me give Twitter 6 months because I used to see Twitter as a very vile platform, as a platform for bitter and hateful people. Then I said, okay, if my approach on LinkedIn is working, let me replicate it on Twitter. I carried my LinkedIn strategy. I brought it to Twitter. What did I do? I followed people. I followed people I wanted to learn from,
Okay.
people I wanted to learn from, and people I wanted to teach. These are my 3 principles when it comes to online followership. I don't just follow anybody. That's me. I don't follow people because they follow me. I follow you because of the value you're adding to me or the money I'm to get from you or what I'm about to teach you. These are my 3 principles. I don't follow people for following sake because I'm so big on community building this time that it's not just about the numbers for me. It's about the quality. It's about the value. So what did I do? I started following CMOs, SEO experts, content writers, content marketers, copywriters, creative directors, founders of SS, co-founders, VPs and the likes, people I know that, okay, these people will consume my content, find value in my content, and will reach out to me in the long run. These are people, I was specific. I didn't want to make the same mistake I made on LinkedIn the first time on my Twitter.
What was
So
the mistake? What was the
that,
mistake?
that mistake was just connecting with any Tom, Dick, and Harry. I didn't really have a defined audience. So
Okay.
with the knowledge I had from LinkedIn, I knew that for me to get something out of Twitter, I will have to have a defined target audience. And it still guides me till today. I reach out from time to time, I follow people, I communicate with people, and these people pass these 3 tests for me. So this is how I started following people, and they started following me in return because they started finding value. I don't tell people to follow me because I'm following them. I don't tell people to follow me because I'm following them. If you find value in my content and you follow me, that's good. And if I find value in your content, I value what you're putting out, that's also great. So I edited my Twitter bio because before I didn't really have anything there. So I was just like I did on LinkedIn, I replicated the same thing on my Twitter. I started putting out, well, although it was pretty hard for me because when you're coming from LinkedIn to Twitter, the character limitation on Twitter will tend to make you, because you have to know how to write short sentences and
Yeah.
how to create Twitter threads and the like. I started out with just normal tweets. So one day I said, okay, let me try Twitter thread. The first Twitter thread I tried, it was just, it had crickets, no engagement, nobody.
Yeah.
It was as if nobody even saw it.
Yeah.
Then I said, okay, I decided to try again. But when I tried again, it was when I had over let's say it was when I had over 1,000 followers. That then I already had a community. So I created my first Twitter thread. And my first Twitter thread was actually on how to get clients on LinkedIn.
Ah,
The second one. The
yeah,
second,
yeah.
and people
So,
really liked it.
huh. So, how many clients do you have now, and how do you manage to juggle all of them? Because like I see
Uh,
your tweets, and he's like, "Oh my God, like I'm staying up late," I and I'm just curious how many are you willing to take at the same time, and how do you manage to juggle all of them?
I'll be honest with you. When it comes to my project, the thing is, I'm a night person. I do
Okay,
most of the heavy lifting at night.
okay,
Maybe that's why people think I don't. Maybe that's why people think I have all the time in the world. I don't. When
okay,
people sleep is when I do the main work, like creating content, strategizing, um, creating content map and the likes. When people sleep, because I like to walk dead in the night. I like absolute silence. I'm this kind of person. I don't walk with noise. I
okay.
don't do serious, I don't do serious work like with noise. I like it being quiet, dead in the night. That's when I write. At night, I can create 2 content pieces at a stretch, especially when I've already done the research.
Okay. So
So
how many clients are you juggling now?
currently, I have on retainers.
Or in
On
general?
retainers. General, I can't give you the number because I do have one of clients. No,
You
you're
have
not
one.
saying that we come once in 3 months. They
Okay.
are one of clients. They are not on retainers. They come once
Okay.
in a while.
Yeah,
But
that's
on retainers currently, I have 4 clients on retainers.
oh wow.
And the thing is, I have a mark. I don't take on any clients that requires more than 4 content pieces a month.
Interesting. So you
Yeah.
so so you already have a limit, because if a client asks you for more than four content items, you'd say no to them because that's a lot
It's
of
too much.
work.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So
And
I tell them,
how do you define a content
fire
item?
to
And the content item, it can be writing tweets, or can be a blog, or it can be, how do you
um,
define a content
not
item?
just writing. It could be most of them are long form content. Some 2,000 words, some 1,000 words, some 1,500. It depends. And then um, I help them with like content strategy for the month. We
Okay.
have things we are putting out. We have like in a month, you know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We have a for the month we follow. They have social media managers. I don't manage their social media for them. No, it's social media manager. But I help them with the strategy. I tell them this is how this content should be distributed. This is what should do. This is what should do. And sometimes like I'm a ad hoc member of their content teams. You understand? Like I'm not their employee, so I'm just that external person that helps with content for some of them. I do have one of clients who come once in a while, and sometimes when they come with 2 content pieces. Some of them will come with case studies. You understand? So I can't really tell you how many all of them are, but
Yeah.
for it, I have 4 currently, and I don't take any client with more than 4 content pieces who needs more than 4 content pieces a month.
Huh.
That's my limit. I know myself. I don't want to break down.
That's fascinating. We're gonna open this up in a bit, but I want to ask you briefly about um, your top frustration, when, since the title of this presentation is trials and tribulation. So I
Yes.
want to talk about, because you're very open in your tweets about both your successes and your failures. That's why I love following your tweets, and I just added your Twitter account for people to follow you. So what are your top frustration when it becomes to being a full-time content writer?
Um, to be honest, one of the top frustrations I have. I've treated about this severally. It's working with clients who aren't ready to be patient.
Okay.
I'm
Not
telling you.
patient, like they keep bugging you for
Not really not patient, like content who don't clients who don't want to play the long game.
okay, okay.
They come to you and say, Rosemary, I want this for my blog, I want this for my website. You tell them what to do. But first of all, one of the things I do, I'm a very sincere person. I won't lie to you to get your money. I don't care. I'm not hungry either. So I'll tell the clients, okay, this is what we'll do, this is what we'll do. First of all, we have to start by carrying small rocks. If you want to move a mountain, you start by moving small. But some of them will be like, I want to rank for this. How do you want to rank for your how do you want to rank for a big keyword where your company is just 5 months old? It's not possible.
Mm.
It's a gradual process. You understand? Some of
Yeah,
them will say, okay, some of them will say, I have an SEO person who tells me this, who tells me that. I'll say, okay, you have an SEO person. I'll tell you, some of these people tell you things to make you feel good and to get to your pockets. But I'm telling you that some things are far-fetched. They are not impossible. They are
yeah,
far-fetched. But when you play the patient game, you can get there. And when you're ready, another thing is most of them aren't ready to put their money where their mouth is.
mm.
I'm honest. You want to like outrank HubSpot. Do you know how much HubSpot is budgeting a month for content?
Yeah, yeah,
It's not possible. So I tell them, let's start with this low ranking or this let's start with these small keywords. Let's start from there, build content cluster, just do some things like building in effort. I tell them that honestly, the way I define content marketing is just like a Chinese bamboo. You know, the Chinese bamboo. The first 1 year, 2 years, you may not see anything. In fact, you might even be doubting, is this really a bamboo seed or something? But in the long run, in the third year, it's just shoot out and it's one of the tallest bamboos in the world. So that's how I define. I tell them that the first month you may not see anything. You don't want to
yeah,
start content marketing today and the next month you want to be ranking. And I also tell them ranking is not, shouldn't be your goal. In content marketing, ranking, paid views shouldn't be your goal. What is your goal? Sales should be your goal. I mean, you are putting money into this thing. You
yeah,
need to get out of it.
yeah,
So ranking, outranking, or anything is secondary. It shouldn't be your primary goals. So first of all, I do what I call client orientation. I tell them what content marketing is, and I ask them, is this something you want to do? Because most of them don't even know what they're embarking on. Most of them just they think with one or two content pieces that everywhere
yeah,
they will just no. I tell them that I won't tell you a lie. I'll tell you what it is, what it will take. You understand? But if you already have an online presence and you've been doing something, you understand, your website is not entirely new. You've been building momentum, we can build from there.
yeah. So, um, I would like to. This is all fascinating, and we have like 9 people here, so I would like to give everyone the chance to ask you a question, and to
Okay.
benefit from your experience. So I'm gonna give the priority to the cohort participants, and then we go to the other. So we'll start with Isabella. Isabella, do you have any questions?
Just you for a minute.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna ask it.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Isabella. Okay. Okay. So if we can, she says, I will type quickly here. Okay. So Isabella's gonna type the question in the chat. And while she types it, I'll move to James. James, do you have any questions? If you like to ask Rosemary.
Yeah, I was curious if you write any newsletters for any of your freelance work, or if that's something that you started doing or prefer. I feel like it's an easier kind of monthly retainer work with clients.
Can you be more audible?
Sorry?
What's that?
I can't hear him.
Okay. Can you repeat the question, James?
Yeah, I was asking if anyone works with you on like a newsletter basis for monthly newsletters.
He's asking if there are some of your clients who pay you to create newsletters, and if you do that as a retainer. Is that a question, James?
I don't create newsletters. I create newsletters for myself. I don't create newsletters for my client. They have people that do that for them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Interesting. Because some of my clients actually ask me for newsletters. I already had 2 clients who ask for newsletters. It's becoming a big business requirement these days. So
yes, it actually is. But some of them already have somebody dealing with their newsletter. But I just tell them, like when I create content for them, especially when it's a long form content, I know the distribution has to be like on most of their source of lead of content distribution. I'll tell them, okay, I think this is the part you talk about in your newsletter. And when I see their newsletter is actually very good.
yeah. Isabella, do you have the question? Okay, while
okay, I saw somebody's comment. The person said that he's tired of freelance marketplaces.
That's James.
How did you gain? I was reading
so
something.
Isabella is saying, how did you gain experience with keywords and SEO? I need to learn more about SEO.
Isabella, I'll be honest with you. When it comes to SEO, I only know the basics. I know how to do keyword research. I know a few basics of SEO basic, but I'm not a technical SEO person. I tell my client that I can't be everything. That's why I made one of my recent viral tweets about freelance, about content marketers not being experts in all the content marketing activity. I know my boundaries, I know my weaknesses, I know my strengths. So technical SEO is not for me. But if it's something you like, you can always learn it. There are many courses you can take. There are many people. But one of the ways to learn SEO, is for you to have your own website. When you have your own website, you experiment. On your website, you can afford to make mistakes. You understand? SEO is more of something you learn while doing it than reading it anywhere.
Yeah. And we have here Abiola, Abisola Oladele. Did I say your name right? Abisola Oladele.
Well, that's expected. Thank you. Okay. You did well. Hi, Rosemary. Hi, Natasha. My question will be: have you had difficult clients? If you had, how did you deal with them? Because I mean, I think that's one of the key issues with freelancing: difficult clients.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
You know, ways, let me tell you the truth. I used to make mistakes before. But in like a year plus, I do what we call client onboarding. So I used to make the mistakes of just like hopping on a project without really like, let's say, screening my clients, screening prospects before they turn into clients. I used to like accept everything that comes my way in the name of making money. But in the long run, I realized that taking the wrong clients will stiffen my growth, steal my peace. I mean, anything that comes between me and my peace is not welcome for me. So what did I do? I created my own onboarding process. I have an onboarding process. If a client reaches out to me and say, Rosemary, I want to work with you, I'll send the client my onboarding form. There, I will know their targets. I'll see, they will tell me their budgets. They will tell me about their websites, what their main objective, and know that, okay, if they pass this stage, then we'll hop on a Zoom call or call on Google Meet or anywhere to discuss 5-minute discovery call. During that discovery call, I ask them pertinent questions. I ask them questions what they hope to achieve. If their demands are beyond what I can handle, because do you know what? Most clients are looking for a content team in a content marketer. They are looking for a content team in one. I mean, I have clients already, so I can't abandon all my clients and start working for you for less pay or for almost the same thing my other peaceful clients are paying me. So during the onboarding process, I read body language. I ask pertinent questions. But the truth is that humans will be humans. They might tell you what you want to hear just to get you on board. And along the line, you will see that you people are not in sync. You people don't share the same values, or the two of you aren't really understanding each other. But I try as much as to like communicate with my clients. I like clarity a lot. It's something I will not trade for anything. I love clarity. So when I try, or when that client is being overly difficult, I'll just tell the client, it depends if I've done a part of the project or if I've almost completed it. I don't waste time in refunding people their money. That's one of my principles. Do you know why? Because if you act desperate, or if you let these people feel like they can walk all over you, they can undermine you, because some people, you tell them what to do and they'll go and do something else, and when it doesn't work out, they will blame you for it. I've written content for clients that, I don't know, they just went and started editing what doesn't make sense, took off pertinent keywords, took off some points, and in the long run, it didn't scale. I mean, I'm a content marketer. I did my research. I took hours to come up with this strategy. I took hours to do this research. I took hours to reach out to experts, to interview them, to make this content unique, because I don't really like writing based on everything I get from the internet. I like to make things a bit unique. Even if you are writing something that is already new, add a thought of uniqueness to it. You understand? And you go back and do something else. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So if I see that you're not listening to my professional counsel as a professional, I'll take the high road. I don't, the way I am, I love to sleep. I love napping. I love my peace. I don't like anything that will compromise my peace. I don't know how much you're paying me. And I think that's why I'm looking fresh. I'm looking young. I'm not looking all dried up, because when you prioritize your peace, when you prioritize your reputation, there are things you walk away from. So if a client is proving difficult, you ask them, okay, as a human being, you ask them, what is really the problem? And if in the long run you find out that there's no problem, they're just being bitchy, because some people, just because they are paying you, they want to suck the life out of you. I mean, I can't die because I'm working for you. So you just have to bid them farewell. But that should be your last resort. Try and see how to manage the situation. And if they are looking difficult, if they are proving anything, just let them be. Do you know why? Because if you waste too much time on a difficult client, you tend to lose the peaceful ones, because you may not really have time to prospect, tend to other clients. You're a freelancer, for goodness sake. If they are going to treat you like an employee, they should be giving you employee benefits, PTOs, and the likes.
So you're saying that your onboarding process is a phone call, a discovery call. Is there anything else that's part of the process in addition to the discovery call?
After the discovery call, either I send my contract, or some clients send theirs. If it's good, I go with theirs. If it's not, I send mine, because my contract tends to like protect me and also protect the client. It's well defined, it's not complicated. I tell freelancers, don't embark on any project without signing any contract with anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, even the clients you signed contracts with, some of them still misbehave. Now talk about a client you didn't sign any contract with. You have no base. You have nothing to hold on to if anything goes wrong. You understand? So if we agree, then we sign a contract and we proceed. I don't send proposals without contract, no. Because if I have to create a proposal, if I have to create strategy, that means it's already part of the job.
Oh, yeah.
It's already a part of the job. I'm a busy person. I have a lot of things on my plate. So I can't ignore people that are paying me and start putting up a proposal for a client I've not fully onboarded. It's not possible.
Interesting. Sorry, Abisola, do you have any follow-up questions?
Thank you so much, Rosemary. Not so much, but I mean, how you mentioned protecting yourself. Now, in a case where you sign a contract, right, but the client still does not pay, how do you handle this? Do you use an escrow like the marketplaces use, or is there a way you get your money out of clients who do not pay?
To be honest, before I start any project, I take 70% of my payments, or sometimes 50. It depends, especially if it's a new client. But for my old clients, I'm not really, because my old clients, some of them even pay me before, some of them pay me everything before I start working because we built trust. You understand? But for the new clients, I take 70% or 50%. Don't start any project without taking. Do you know why? Because this is more like a service-based thing. The moment you add that person to that Google Doc or that Word document or anything, or you send it, it's gone. It's not something you can retrieve. So you have
70%? You take 70%?
You can take
70?
70.
Oh, wow. That's a big chunk, and they're okay with that. That's pretty bold to ask for 70%. And
some clients even pay 100%. I don't know why. Maybe just trust me. Some just pay it, and I've never really disappointed any one of them. No. So that's just the way I work. You have to protect yourself, because in freelancing, you have to look out for yourself, even though I advise you to also look out for your clients.
Yeah. Wow.
So yes, take upfront payments before. Do you know why? I don't use all these freelance platforms. So the only person to protect myself is me. I have to look out for myself. So on freelance platforms, even when you have problem with a client, they might tend to side with the client. So,
and what freelance platforms you're referring to? Can you give us examples?
Freelance platform like Fiverr, Upwork, and Flex. So I have to look out for myself because there's no intermediary. It's just me and the client.
Yeah, yeah. So we have a question from a great person called Great. He says, I love your confidence, Rosemary. How long did it take you to start getting high-paying gigs when you started freelancing? It's a good question.
To be honest, it took me 3 years. First of all, I was lowballing myself until I finally found a community. I found a community. I started interacting more with American freelance writers. I used to interact with Nigerian freelance writers. You know, when you are with people who are in the same geographical territory with you, you may not really know what foreigners are charging for the same effort you're putting in. So when I started discussing more with American freelancers, European freelancers, British freelancers, I was like, wow, you people could charge this? They said, yes, what have you been charging? I was like, I was so dumbfounded. I say, hey, I was shocked because these people were charging more than 4 times what I was charging for. In fact, I was putting in more effort. And they were like, girl, do you know what you are offering? How will you be charging? I was dumbfounded. That was when I summoned the courage. I said, okay, if these people are charging this, then the first time I did it, it was with a prospect on LinkedIn. The prospect was laughing when I told, do you know, I felt bad. The first time I started charging high, I told the client was laughing. He said, nobody's going to pay you this. But that didn't deter me. That same day, do you know that same day, I told the client that, and the client didn't even negotiate. I was like, wow, this life is good.
So do you think there are some clients who are willing,
Yes, it depends on their budget. The thing is, okay, let me tell you the truth. The thing is, I love research. As a content marketer, sometimes I bill my client based on bill them based on their MRR. Like when they raise funding, I mean, you can't raise $20 million and you expect me to charge you $50. It doesn't make sense.
What's MRR?
Like when their revenue, when they get investments from their investors, maybe venture capitalists, investments, when they raise funding. I work with startups. So I check how much they've raised. I mean, it's just a click away. I check how much they raised in Google. I see, wow, these people raised $12 million. Okay. Yes, I mean, if somebody raises 12 million, 100 million, 200 million, that should tell you how much you're willing to take or how much you should be asking. That's where the wisdom lies. You don't just tell them uniform price. I mean, they raise money to spend it. So take from it and give them quality service.
That's fascinating. So anyone else has any questions? We still have a few people here. We have Dorcas, Peace, any other follow-up? Because if you don't ask, I'll ask. So take your time. Hi, who's Peace Armadi? Yeah.
Yeah, hi, Natasha. Okay, so I'm a content writer. I write for B2B fintech currently, but I want to transition to content marketing. But currently, I have no experience with it. So, what would you suggest to start out with?
Okay, I'll suggest you take a course on content marketing. Understand what is expected of you. Because when you take those courses, you know where your weaknesses and your strength lies. You understand? If SEO is something you love, because I always tell people, people can say trash about SEO, but the truth is that SEO is still very important to content marketing. It's one of the channels of distribution. So you have to learn. You have to learn it, maybe not technically, if you like. I tell people, if you like me, I don't do everything. No. I don't do everything. I'm not a jack of all trade. I'm not a full content team. That's what I tell people. I'm a content marketer. So you learn how to create content strategy, how to create content clusters, how to do content governance, how to refresh content, how to repurpose content, how to distribute content. So these are things you learn along the way. So but the most important thing I'll tell you is take it slow, take it a step at a time. You shouldn't want to learn everything all at once. It's a journey. You learn as you progress. Give yourself time, be gracious with yourself. But the most important thing is practice whatever you're learning. That's the best way to sustain and retain whatever you're learning in the process. Do you understand? Yeah. And don't go over promising people. Tell people what you can deliver. Tell people what you can do for them and stick to that.
Yeah, it's very good. We have a question from
Thank you.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
From James. What types of content do you find yourself writing the most, often enjoying the most? Did you establish a niche?
To tell you the truth, I hate monotonous work. I hate writing on the same thing over and over again. So for now, I work with companies in digital marketing. I work with companies in the business sector. I work with companies in CRM. I work with companies in I work with companies in, let's say, finance as well. Yes, I have a client on retainer on finance. So these are people I work with. But I don't know. I tell people when you're starting out, if you're a starter, I tell people to like be a generalist at first, but along the line, you have to niche down. Because before I used to write on, I used to write on almost anything before. I used to write on security doors, spoons, cups, sand, anything. But now I don't write those content anymore. I take up clients that I find enjoyable. Like at least I know I'm making money from it. At least I should enjoy it. I shouldn't work with I shouldn't embark on projects that will make me lackluster or just make me put out bad work. So when a client comes to me, I check their website, I check their objectives. If it's something I like to hawk on, why not? I'm not this type of person that will write about fintech. I will get tired. That's just the truth. I will get tired. In fact, I might even leave this job and look for something else to do. So today, if I write on fintech, tomorrow I want to talk about digital marketing. The next day I want to talk about social media marketing. I want to talk about influencing marketing. I love to talk about different things. But the people I'm working with currently are startups and medium-sized businesses.
So, Rosemary, would you ever quit freelancing to get a full-time job with benefits and stability?
For me to quit freelancing, it will have to take a lot of money to do that actually. Because the thing is, once you test freelancing, you may not want to go in-house anymore, especially when you have good paying clients. But if I want to go in-house, it has to be worth it. I mean, like worth it. So it's something I'm thinking, it's something that I can't tell you yes or no. It depends. It depends on the offer on the table.
But would you sacrifice the flexibility of freelance, being your own boss, all of that?
If I'm sacrificing the flexibility of freelance writing, should be worth it in money, it should be worth it in peace and growth. At least your company should have a growth path. Yeah. Because I'm a very futuristic person. If I'm going somewhere, I don't just want to be at a particular spot for long. I have to be progressive career-wise. Yeah. So, and freelance is not something I want to do for a long time. At some point, I'll have my own agency. There are many things I want to do with my life. At some point, I will grow. I will spread my tentacles. I will have my own agency. I will have people working for me. I'm even looking at having a content team, full content team very soon. I will have SEO I work with. I will have social media managers. I will have strategists. I mean, I have big goals for myself. So it's not really.
Yeah. So you don't want to be like a solopreneur, that like you want to be a person who runs a content agency.
In the long run, but that's not for now. But I'm in the process, because the thing is, one thing that why people fail when it comes to like upskilling is because most of them don't understand the business aspect of freelancing. Freelancing is a business, and for every business, you look at growing. It depends on your goal, how you want to grow. At some point, you will need help. At some point, you want to spread your tentacles. Yeah. So I know that point will come, because me as a person, I'm a goal-oriented person. I don't like being at a spot for long. If I've done this thing and it's giving me money, I want to aim higher. I mean, it's what makes life for me fascinating. It's what makes life intriguing, and the challenges, overcoming challenges, scaling, growing, upskilling, and let's say new journey, new phase, new trial. So I'd like to own an agency very soon. maybe not this year, but I'm looking at it. It's something I would like to do in the long run. But in-house, I can go in-house for the right amount. I mean, if
Is
it's
it the
worth
money
it.
or is it the lifestyle? Or is it
It's
both?
not just the money. It will have to be with a, let's say, a CEO or a company that understand content marketing. I mean, not people who just like, I mean, if it's something I like to try. I'm always a freelancer. Once a freelancer is always a freelancer, I can always quit. If you
Yeah.
stress my life, I'll run away.
Yeah. Yeah. I like this. Once a freelancer, always a freelancer. That's true.
In
Yeah.
fact, I can even tell my client, did you make me, did you give me a headache? I say, my clients, I'll just say, I'm back, oh, I'm gone and I'm back. Let's continue.
Yeah. Yeah. I like this a lot. Any other questions? We are coming to the hour here, but we have some other people here. We have new person Jake. If somebody asked, you can ask again. We have few minutes.
Okay.
Anyone just raise your hand, or you can put the question in the chat. Okay. Well, so Rosemary, any final thoughts on the freelancing life that you'd like to share with us?
One of the listen I'll tell people is, if you really want to go far as a freelancer, I mean, you want to like go very far, take your personal brand seriously. Take
Okay.
it seriously. Don't just be that content writer who creates content without their bylines on them. No, sometimes you like publish content with your name, even if you don't have a website. I don't have a website. I use Twitter, and Twitter is a very good source of lead generation for me. Use Twitter, use LinkedIn, use these platforms. Put out content, let people know what you do. Build momentum. In fact, I think last 3 weeks or last 3 weeks or early this month, somebody referred a client to me from the UK, and I don't even know who that person is. I think the person might be from Twitter or LinkedIn. The person just referred me, and
Okay.
the person reached out to me. So this is what I tell people. Okay, imagine that nobody knows what I'm doing. I'm just working on all these freelance marketplaces. How would they refer you? They won't refer you. And I tell people, if you're on freelance marketplaces, set time for yourself. Because if you're there, their heights may not reach. I'm not laying a curse on anybody, but it's just the truth.
Yeah.
It's just the truth. When most people I know, I mean, most good content writers I know on these freelance marketplaces, when they hear how much I charge, they tend to be shocked. And I'll tell them, it's because you're on these platforms. You are on this platform, you are in a rat race. So how do you want to like set your price yourself when you are using their platform? You have to build your own platform for yourself. Your personal platform is what we call your personal brand. So put time into it. I know it's overwhelming. You have lots of things to do, but make out time. Till tomorrow, I still add tweets, Twitter threads, creating content on Twitter and LinkedIn on my daily to-do list. I still add them. Do you know why? I don't have it in my head that I will do it. I put it to treat it as a need to my business. It's a business. Every business needs a need to be serviced, to keep generating leads for them, not just leads, to keep pushing them out there. You understand? And when you take your personal brand seriously, you'll notice that your dry season will reduce. Do you know that there are clients, there are content marketers, I mean my seniors in the industry, who are booked from now to October?
Yeah.
So that's because they are working on their personal brand. They are putting in, and for most of us who aren't Americans, who don't live in the US, in the UK, in all this country, sometimes we have to double our efforts to be seen, for you to be heard. Because, I mean, the competition is stiff. It's
Yeah.
quite, and only the consistent, only the dedicated come out on top. So you just have to keep doing it, except if you don't really want to make anything out of freelancing. It's just something you do on the side. You have a full-time job already, that's fine. But if freelancing is your main source of income, you have to give it your best.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. It's that all the I'm gonna end with this quote from you that the dedicated and the consistent they come out on top, which is very true. And I see that in your tweets as well. So this been really wonderful. I took many notes here. I personally learned from you, Rosemary, and thank you very much for your time and for talking to all of us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Of course, let's take a group picture. If anyone is comfortable turning on your video camera, just for the memory and for as well to work on our personal brand, like Rosemary recommended. It'd be nice to, if anyone is comfortable opening your camera, that will be nice. So far it's me, and come on guys, don't be shy. All right. Okay, I have one. Hi, Abiola and Isabella. James. James is hiding. Okay. We're just gonna like do, I don't know, hi or something. Yeah. All right, I see James. That's nice. All right. Got it. Thank you very much, everyone. And please follow Rosemary. You learn a lot from her. I shared her Twitter account in the chat and her LinkedIn. And I'm just gonna summarize quickly what I learned is that she does an onboarding with all her new clients. She does not just take any client out of desperation, which is a mistake that I made as well in the beginning. She sometimes charges up to 70% upfront from her clients. She also advises us to take our personal brand very seriously. Also, don't overpromise to your client. You cannot do everything, and only the dedicated and the consistent rise on top. Thank you very much. This has been
Thank
wonderful.
you for having me. Thank you so much.
Of course, and I'm gonna share the recording and I'm gonna put it on YouTube for everyone to gain from your expertise. Thank you for everything and have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Take care. Stay safe.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.